Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we are in Jurassic Forest, Jurassic Garden, where a lost biblical plant with medicinal properties is resurrected from a 1,000-year-old seed. Scientists found an old seed and at some point said, "Hey, what if we just planted it?" And lo and behold, they resurrected an extinct species of tree, which is very, very fascinating.
Yeah, so the story of the seed is about 1,000 years ago. It was deposited in this cave in the Judean desert. Then in the 1980s, some archaeologists stumbled upon it and they did what they normally do. They collected it for analysis. So far, everything's well and good, except they can't say for certain what seed this is. It doesn't appear to really match anything that is, known local flora. So in about 2010, one of them gets the bright idea to just plant it
I, I
and see
just,
what happens.
I just love it because, you have this historic plant. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it's from. What's the first thing you want to do? We'll just toss it in the dirt and see if anything happens. It's 1,000-year-old seed.
Yeah.
But much to I think everyone's surprise, it began growing and flourishing, and they did this in 2010, and the plant is still living. However, it has never flowered or nor grown fruit, which is an
Yeah.
important distinction because that's usually how plants reproduce.
Yeah. And it could just be one of those things where it's just not hitting that cycle yet. It is in the photos here about 12 years old. It would be 14 years old at about the point of this recording.
Yeah.
So for all we know, it could just be part of a longer lifespan. Trees do that sometimes. My grandfather had a peach tree, would not
Hmm.
blossom for years. Now he's like infested with peaches. So
Peaches,
you just
peaches.
never know.
And it's interesting because the researchers believe that this tree could be the source of the biblical sori, which was a medicinal plant extract associated with the historical region of Gilead, north of the Dead Sea in the Jordan Rift Valley. So it's very, very kind of cool to see a biblical connection. And here's a picture of the seed prior to them planting it. So at least they took a before picture.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
they definitely they had like 30 years to take the before picture.
and yeah, it's just very interesting. And what they did was they mixed the seed in water mixed with hormones and fertilizer before they planted it in a pot of sterile soil. And about 5.5 weeks later, it began growing and producing a shoot tip that was cap-like, and I believe they call it an operculum. Operculum.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure yet.
Oh, that's so cool. So once it shed the leaf, the team radiocarbon dated the organic matter and estimated the plant to be from AD 993 or to 1202. That is cool to radiocarbon date a living thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
that's very fun. That's yeah. You don't get to usually do that with living things. Usually the thing has to be long dead. Like this is very fun that it's both alive and been carbon dated. The one and only probably on Earth with that distinction. Uh,
And what's pretty cool about this is they took it to a biology professor, Dr. Andrea Weeks, at George Mason University, and they sequenced the DNA, which confirmed the identification of it as a Comifera. However, we don't actually know the specific species. We
yeah,
know that that's the general taxonomy, but we
yeah,
don't know specifically what branch it is.
yeah. And one of the funny things with that is that led to a theory by some members of the team that the seed was what is known as the balm of Gilead, which is a semi-mythical plant. It appears in the Bible. It appears in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, and It's a healing plant associated with this region, like we talked about. And the only way to prove that it's not is to grow one to maturity and smell it. Because it's supposed to have a very distinct smell that is described based on the resin of its leaves. So the only way to prove that it's not this plant would be to grow it. So that's what they did. Fun fact, there is no residue on the leaves. It has no scent.
Yeah, but they did identify certain compounds that were known for their medicinal use, including Golguloroto. Oh God, I cannot pronounce that. Golgulorotoros,
Guggleterals.
which have been
Guggleterals.
identified from the resin of the tree species, and it could potentially have cancer-fighting properties.
Yep.
And it's if it's not the Judean balsam, it's a very close cousin of it, which is very interesting. And it'd
Yep.
be kind of cool to see how they can clone this and continue it on. And I do wonder, all things considered, is I wonder if they're able to. Obviously, they sequence the DNA if they're able to clone it and then continue on the species. But I wonder how they would do that with a without it flowering or fruiting.
Yeah. That is definitely an interesting conundrum. One thing I will say on like a more hopeful note is that the fact that this seed is able to germinate and grow and sprout into a tree after sitting in a cave for 1,000 years speaks very well to a lot of other seed preservation projects around the world, that the concept of seed vaults and seed banks do in fact work, that you can take old seeds and grow them and give them life. This is very good news for Svalbard.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Svalbard Seed Bank is probably the most prominent and famous one, and yeah, I can't imagine what how excited they are and the proof of concept. Like, see, it works, and it's a very cool, interesting thing. But there are some other issues or questions that I have that I think would need to be fully explored in the future too. Of like, obviously, we've all seen Jurassic Park and how resurrecting an extinct species could go. I'm just curious to see like if there's any potential negative connotations, if it would be highly invasive to its natural environment. I know that sounds like a wacky thing to say, but would it compete with plants that have moved in since its extinction? What
Yeah,
caused
it
its
has been.
extinction?
Yeah, it has been extinct for about 1,000 years. So the question is, would it stand no chance against its natural herbivoric predators, or would it just start out competing everything around it? Because I guarantee you, we take a velociraptor and drop it in the middle of Midwestern America, it will start wiping things out.
Hopefully the deer.
Yeah,
And
saying.
yeah, but it poses an interesting question. But I think that's a good point for us to wrap up. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below because this is a very interesting topic, and these are conversations that are going to become more and more prominent as time goes on. But thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.